Hi, it's Nettura. Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a bit more of a casual one. So it's going to be a step-by-step tutorial on how to do a full cleansing ritual. Full. The whole ritual, okay? It's going to be no cost to extremely low cost, because I don't know what you have at home. But yeah, relatively low energy, very easy, and very, it's very easy for what you get out of it, basically. So yeah, let's get into it. First things first, the first thing you have to do is to clear and clean your space. So when it comes to cleaning, you have to take a couple of areas in your house in mind. So first you have the floor, then you have your kitchen counter, then you have your altar. Less priority, these are in order of priority, okay? The less priority one is kind of optional, but it's your table, your dinner table / desk, whatever you have. So let me show you an example of how my house looks like right now, and then I'll do the transformation, I guess. This is the state of my floor after not hoovering for literally 2 days. So there you have it, that needs to be cleaned. This is the state of my altar and my kitchen counter, because I didn't have time to clean last night. And that's my fucking dinner table / desk. So we're gonna start clearing out because there's too much clutter. And you might ask me, Nettura, why is it so valuable, useful, need, priority? Why is it such a priority to make sure that your space is relatively tidy and clean-ish, not spick and span, but kind of clean, okay, relatively nice enough to look at, kind of, because we're talking about a cleansing ritual here. We're going to do a cleansing ritual. Now, the thing about witchcraft is that you can do all the spiritual practice in the world, but if you're not doing anything practically in order to channel your spiritual energy into, then the spell doesn't have much grounds for it to ground itself. It doesn't have a strong foundation to materialize into, essentially, okay? You need to clear out the dirt. Like, for example, if you're still stuck on your ex, are you gonna get into a new relationship? Ideally, no, right? You're gonna get over your ex first and then be okay alone, and then you'll be able to cleanly get into a new relationship on a new slate, right? So it's kind of the same concept here. So let's get into cleaning. What I do like to do is, before starting the clean, I like to light an incense stick, because I don't know, it just promotes it in me. Like, I have severe ADHD, so just doing a task by itself to me is so fucking hard, because everything is like useless to me. Everything just takes energy, and I don't care if my space is clean or dirty, really. I'm still gonna feel the same way. So that's why I do the incense, for it to like show me and get me into the mood of really clearing things out, so I don't have to force myself to get into that mood. If you have like an incense stick, or I don't know, just a normal house candle, or I don't know, anything that really gets you in the mood of doing the clean, or some music, then I think ideally you should do that if you're somebody that's very carried away and bored like me. I have cleaned the majority of my house. There is the floor, there is the counter, and I've organized my altar. I can be asked to like properly hoover it and all that, but there you go. It's quite organized, if I may say so myself. So let's start the ritual. So the thing that you actually need is, at least in the way that I'm teaching it, is 4 candles. Now, the reason we are choosing these instead of pillar candles, let me give you an example. So these are called pillar candles, these are called tea light candles. The reason why I'm saying this is because, first of all, this is way cheaper. You get a whole bag for the same price as like maybe 5 of these, and lasts a long time. And also because if you're gonna use like multiple pillar candles, so you need 4 candles, okay, for this. So we have the plate set up. Underneath I have my selenite coaster, again completely optional. Just a plate, normal ceramic plate, okay? Make sure it's ceramic, not glass or plastic, please, or you will break and melt a couple of things. So make sure it's ceramic, so it can handle some heat, and you can peel the wax off of it. So the reason being is that when you're using multiple pillar candles, you need to put them very, very, very far apart, or else if they're relatively close to each other, you know, eventually, I can't put them straight, I'm sorry, but eventually they're going to not burn evenly. One's going to go lower than the other. And it's going to start, imagine they're standing, okay? So imagine they're this far away. This one is lower, then this one starts burning this part of this candle, and then you're going to have a wax disaster. And basically, there's going to be a lot of, let's call them scientific factors in the way that's going to prevent you from properly observing and interpreting what the spell is showing you, okay? So that's the reason why I'm choosing these, because you can map them out a lot easier. When I use multiple pillar candles, I either do them on different plates, but to be honest, I usually can't be asked, or I put like something here and I wrap them around like a birthday cake. So I do, I don't know, a massive glass jar here, one here, one here, one here, one here, you know. But there's no need for all this complication for a simple cleansing ritual, in my opinion. So that's why I'm going to take these away and we're going to use the tea light candles. So the reason why I said 4 is because to cleanse, there are 4 different factors. What do you call them? There are 4 different points for you to target with your spell work. So to cleanse yourself, are you just one-dimensional? No. So you need 1 candle for the body, 1 candle for the emotions, the emotional body, okay? So physical, emotional, mental body. So 1 for your mind and 1 for your soul, okay? Your spirit. So you're targeting the 4 different dimensions that we as humans interact with on a daily basis. Now, obviously, there's about 12 dimensions. I have explored all of them, but it's like you're not going to explore all of them consciously every day. You know, you're going to do that once in a while. So that's why I'm saying just 4, because they're the main 4 dimensions that you are constantly interacting with, okay? If you want to make a 5th one for the higher spirit, the unconscious spirit, you can do that too. You can do that too. You can add that. Personally, I can't be asked right now. I'm just going to do these 4 because that's what I feel like I need to do. So, you know, that's all. If you want, again, you can add a 5th one for the higher soul. So the soul is within your body, right? But you have a higher soul that's sitting above your current soul. It's like your general erotic shield. Again, you can do a 5th candle for that. I personally don't feel like it right now. So anyways, let's get our ingredients. Okay, so first of all, actually, you're going to carve your intention into here. Now, you can either write it with a marker. I personally prefer to carve in candles. I feel like, because, you know, when you're writing something on top of a candle, it's like you're just putting a label on it. But when you're carving in it, it's like a tattoo on top of the candle. So the intention is sucked by the wax, and the wick is directly burning the intention, not simply washing it away like a layer on top of the wax, like it usually happens when I used to write on candles instead of carve. Yeah. So let's carve these in. I don't think I can do the whole, I don't think I can do that because I have to I need to use both hands. So I'm just gonna do it and tell you what I'm doing, basically, and I'm gonna show you what I've done. Sorry you can't see me do it because, again, I don't have 3 hands and I don't have a fucking thing to hold it on top of, you understand. So 1, you're going to write, again, in any language you want, by the way, in any language you want, for some reason. So English is not my first language, but I don't know why. For some reason, I use English usually in my spell work. Like, I only use my first language to kind of recite and pray usually, but I don't like write it in spell work because my language is a bit more complicated. English is like a simpler alphabet, shorter words and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of use English. It's more straight to the point than my language. But yeah, again, use whatever language you want, but you're basically going to write for the first one, cleanse my body. Or if you have all the space, cleanse my physical body or cleanse the physical. Again, whatever wording resonates for you. Personally, I'm going to say cleanse my body. So I'm going to start writing. with a knife. I don't know, this is a nice knife I stole from my grandma's. But, you know, any knife, really, anything you can carve into. It could be like a clothing needle, you know, those fat ones. It could be that. It could be, I don't know, a fork if you feel like doing that. It could be like the back of a spoon. Whatever you want to carve with. Toothpick, yeah, I don't know. That's a bit annoying to press with, but, you know. Actually, I can write here. Cleanse my physical body. And personally, so you can't really see it, but I wrote cleanse my physical body. Now, if you have any leftover space, feel free to make a sigil, either a sigil or just a doodle. So I do use sigils, but it's not really my thing. Like, it's not the thing I usually do. It's more advanced for me, like if I want to do like a proper advanced spell. But if I want to do something simple, I don't usually... Why is it like... Anyways, I don't usually do sigils, so I'm just gonna make a wave. Like, what does cleansing remind me of? It reminds me of the sea, personally. So I'm gonna just carve, really. I'm gonna carve a wave. Now, you can carve whatever you want. When you get the word cleanse in your mind, what comes to your mind? Maybe it's an incense, so you can do like a smoke, like a, you know, like a wind or something like that. Or maybe you like to cleanse with fire, so you can just do a triangular thing to make it a flame. Whatever you want. I'm gonna do a wave. So there you go. I made my wave. You cannot see it, but there you go. I made a wave. So that's the first candle, okay? And you're going to put it at the bottom of the plate. I'll show you after. I just don't feel like moving everything. Second candle is going to be cleanse my emotional body, or cleanse my emotions, whatever. I'm gonna write cleanse my emotional body. Okay, great. Now, I'm not sure what emotions remind me of. I guess you can do like a chalice. You can make a... Maybe you can doodle something like that as a chalice. Because in tarot, emotions are chalices, cups. But it doesn't really come to my mind as mine. Like, that's more of a logical connotation to me rather than an emotional one. And we're talking about emotions here. Let me think a little bit. What comes to my mind when I think of emotions? I think of depth. Depth. Okay, let me make a well. How the fuck do you doodle a well? I'll figure it out. So, a well. There you go. I've made a well. It kind of looks like a candle, but anyways, I've made a well. And this is going to be on your left. You're going to map it on your left because emotions, feminine, whatever. Third candle is going to be cleanse my mind, or cleanse my mental body. I'm just going to write mind. I don't know why it's more connecting with me. So cleanse my mind. What comes to mind when I say mind? Eyes. Think of eyes. So let me just map a little eye. Okay, very simple. There you go. It's done. That's the eye. And that's going to go on the right side. My right. I'm not sure if it's your right too from what you're saying from me, but it's my right. And the next one is going to be cleanse my soul, or wash my soul, or cleanse my soul body, or whatever you want to write along those lines. So cleanse my soul. And I think of chakras, so I'm going to make a bunch of swirlies as a chakra representative. My swirlies. And that's gonna go at the top. Okay. That's basically it. Now, if you had to use, for example, a pillar candle, you would either inscript going down, kind of like the Japanese. You can do it going down, or you can do it going around, which I personally don't like. So instead, I turn it around, top to bottom, I write, and I just write like this. Yeah, turn it right. But again, that's if you have like proper candle holders to hold them apart from each other. If they're gonna be far away and they're not gonna burn each other when they start like burning properly. And I think for pillar candles, if you had to use a pillar candle, you would even be able to get away with 1 or 2 of these for the spell, because this is a lot more wax than those, for example. So you need kind of more candles, if you get what I'm trying to put. Okay, now let me show you. This is what it looks like. So you put the physical body here, the emotions here, the mind here, because feminine, masculine, feminine is left, masculine is right. Here you put the soul, because it's at the top, right? And the physical body is ruled by your feet, so you put it at the feet. So it's kind of like you're mapping out your body here, you see? Now, let's get to the ingredients on what to put kind of around. Now, let's talk about ingredients. So, you need to choose 4 ingredients out of your house, okay? You don't need to go by anything. Well, make sure you have salt, okay? Salt is a need. Whatever salt, if it's sea, normal, you know, the cooking one, the pasta one, if you know what I mean, or this one, or a finer or thicker version, or black salt, or whatever fucking thing. If you have seawater and you dried it up, anything. Just salt you need to have, okay? Salt. For this kind of ritual, I mean, for witchcraft in general, salt is very, very useful, and it's like the main ingredient. But for this one, you definitely need salt. But choose 3 other things. So salt, whatever you have, and 3 other things that you have around your house that for you calls out to you, okay? So let me show you my 4, okay? So I'm gonna use star anise. Do you like my jar? It's so cute. Star anise, and I'm gonna use this for the first candle, which is the physical body. So you need 4 ingredients, 1 for each candle, okay? So you need an ingredient, first of all, to cleanse the physical body. And I chose star anise because star anise not only connects the Earth Star chakra, okay, the one of the feet, this chakra, to the crown chakra and the soul star chakra, okay, the one of the top mind and the soul, because it's a star, but it's brown or darkish. So it connects the body, okay? So I'm gonna use this for the grounding part of the cleansing. Next, for the feminine one, so the emotional cleansing. What is my hair doing? I'm gonna use Himalayan salt, and I like it less fine, personally. I like it in the middle, fine wine. So that's what I'm gonna use, because again, salt, you need to use salt somewhere for sure. And also emotions are, again, I personally relate feeling and cleansing and all of this to the sea. Now, I do live on an island, so maybe that's just the way I grew up, but my culture, you know. But also in the tarot deck, emotions are the sea, emotions are the chalices. So there's a lot of water going on. So that's why you kind of need salt. If you have sea salt, I think it will work the best, but doesn't matter which type of salt you have. I'm personally using this one. I'm using the Himalayan salt for the feminine because it's pink, and pink is femininity for me. I don't know, call me whatever. Pink, whatever. And as well, the emotions relate to the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is what? Green and pink. So, you know, pink, whatever. Now for the masculine one, which is the mind actionary kind of logical thing, I'm using rosemary, okay? So this is what rosemary looks like. A lot of Asians use it. There you go. That's what rosemary looks like. Smells incredible, by the way. I love using rosemary when I do pasta with pesto. Okay, you know, the green sauce. Yeah, rosemary is incredible. Anyways, with coriander as well, by the way. Out of my recipe. So basically I'm using rosemary because it also is good for cleansing. But specifically, rosemary is a protective cleanser. Now, what does the masculine do? The masculine energy protects, okay? So I think this is a brilliant connotation in my opinion. Now for the soul star, I'm going to use baking soda. Yes, baking soda. Very unpopular ingredient, but I personally love using baking soda. So the thing about baking soda is it aids in crown chakra alignment, right? Shield against workings of practitioners, collects evil eye and returns it to sender, and wards away unwanted energies. So it's very soul aligning, soul promoting, very neutralizing. Yes, let's say it's neutralizing. It's a bit more alkaline, but the body is very acidic, isn't it? So using alkaline in your spell work in order to neutralize the body, I think, is an exceptional way of merging science and witchcraft. So let's do it. Let me bring it here because I have nowhere to put my phone over there. So I'm just gonna put this here. So okay, I'm gonna remove all the candles. I'm gonna do them in the same order there. And there's a plate. So I'm gonna start with the star anise actually. If you're using 4 candles, you're going to split the plate into 4 sections. If you're using 5, you're gonna split it into 5, whatever sections, 4 like that. I don't know. However many candles you have, the many sections you need to make to divide the herbs. So start, maybe it's the least efficient way to start with the thicker herbs, but hey, whatever. Ideally start from the bottom, that's why. And I'm gonna coat, there you go. I don't know how the candle's even gonna stay on these, but I'll figure it out. These things are so pointy, I swear to God. Okay. That's 1. That's done. Okay. Next, the feminine, because the feminine births and then the masculine acts upon what has been birthed. So we start with the feminine over the masculine. And this side should have salt. Fuck, that's a lot of salt. Okay. That's that. Now I'm gonna put the masculine side, which is the rosemary. Okay, make sure they kind of, the herbs like connect together though in the borders. Like there's not a border without a herb. Okay. Oof. Okay. Next, I'm gonna do the baking soda, and I'm not just gonna throw it because it's a very messy powder. Very cute mussel shell, and I'm gonna scoop it and put it in. That's what I do with herbs usually. So, like that. You just put it. This looks a lot like my previous junkie days. My goodness. Yeah, make sure to crush, if you're using baking soda, for example, make sure to crush the air bubbles. So the part of the baking soda that has been humidized, that has become humid and became rock solid. You need to crush that. Make it to layer. goodness, this one's like really hard. Doesn't need to be perfect, but like at least make sure you don't have like big rocks in there. Okay. And now, after we've done all of that, let me show you. So, you see what I've done here. Now, if you want, because I feel called to take a fifth herb to make a border around them. I usually, well, clockwise. I usually do that. So again, completely optional. But the border is for kind of like a protective shield around your erotic energy. I love as a border using either baking soda, but I use it for something else, so I'm going to use something else, or jeera powder. My beloved jeera powder. I literally bought a jar just for it because I use so much. I always cook with this. I love this so much. Cumin. Yeah, it's called cumin. Jeera is in Hindi. So cumin powder makes an excellent shield. So then basically line it around. It doesn't need to be perfect. Again, it's clearly not coming out perfectly, but the intention's there, you know. Gods and the higher powers are not going to look at your perfection. They're going to look at your intent and your action, not your perfection. There's a difference. So I personally believe that baking soda is a spiritual shield. Puts a spiritual shield around you if you're using that as a shield. But jeera, so cumin powder, is an excellent physical shield. So it kind of shields you from danger, from people that are trying to take advantage of you. It shields you from being physically and verbally manipulated and all of that sort. And I don't know, I personally like feeling physically safe as a woman, especially. So that's that. Love how I said like, oh, this is a simple tutorial, 10 steps. Again, most of it is more, what do you call it, optional. I just personally like to, you know, I have the time on my hands, so I'm just gonna do it. I also want to distract myself from the fact that I work tomorrow. Because I'm not looking forward to that mess. Make sure to fill in the gaps. If there's any place without the border, fill those gaps. That is actually very important. Okay, I think I've done it. Now, this is the results. This is what I was talking about when it comes to a border. Okay, you always start clockwise. Then you fill in the gaps if there's places where it's not enough. And again, don't be scared of being messy, especially when it's like a lot of powders. They're gonna get messy, but it's okay. Now, I'm gonna put the plate back on the altar. There you go. And I'm gonna put the candles in their desired place. So this is the physical candle. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, it stayed, kind of. Okay. Wow. This is the emotional. This is the mental. And this is the spiritual. Yeah, I'm looking through my phone. Okay. Now, if you want to add anything in the middle or you want to add extra things, that's on you. You can do that. Personally, I'm going to pick out some crystals. And also cleanse. Yeah, cleanse. either at this point when you've set things up, either make like a sound ball, like, I don't know, hit a ball maybe, or just use an incense, or if you smoke cigarettes, light a cigarette and just like go around with it, because it's smoke either way, and it's herbs, tobacco is herbs, so it's okay. It works as well for cleansing, and yeah, just do your cleansing. Meditate, clear your mind, smile, even if you have to force it, just get a smile in, you know, force the energy a little bit so that you can manipulate the energy into becoming lighter. That's why you have to force it a little bit with witchcraft. There you go, your cleansing, whatever. Pick out your crystals if you like to use them, or if you have any. Pick out extra things. Maybe you want to, actually, yeah, I want to put a shell. Actually, I'm just going to use this. I have other shells, but I'm just going to use this one. It's a bit too big. Okay, I'll use the other ones. They're smaller. So I have these mussel shells as well. They're open because they broke. And I was cleaning them. Yeah, just add the shells. I'm gonna add them at the side. Or here, actually. Yeah. There. And there. Okay. I was talking so much about the sea and the water. It's kind of calling me to get the shells that I have. Again, pick some crystals if you want. I'm gonna pick my black obsidian. Gonna set them aside because I have to cleanse them first. So my black obsidian, have another piece of selenite. So I'm gonna map them out. Something for the emotional body. Gonna use a moonstone. This personally helps me a lot with my uterus pain and feelings of grief. So I feel connected to it. What else really? Something for the mind. Something for the mind. Maybe an amethyst? Or I have this funny blue one. No, it's kind of old, I know what it says. I have this one as well. But I think I'm gonna use the amethyst because it kind of depends on the way you think, actually. If you want to choose, if you have like a lot of crystals and you need to choose something for the mind between purple and blue, if you were a more like, when you observe things, you observe them very logically, then I think you should go towards blue. But if you're like me and you're very like emotionally perceptive, more than logical, then I think purple would be nicer because it shows that you prioritize your third eye over your throat. And blue, if you prioritize the throat and the logic and the day-to-day logical stuff, very like, I mean, everything's logical, but you know what I mean, like the straightforward things. If you prioritize straightforward thinking over observing and interpreting, then you should use blue because you prioritize the throat. Okay, now I'm gonna cleanse my crystals and set my cleansing intentions into them. Especially black crystals, you need to cleanse because they hoard a lot of energy. The darker the color, the more it hones in energy, okay? The denser it is, molecule-wise. So there you go. Oh my god, it's coming in my face. Even like white crystals, for example, they crumble very easily. If they fall on the floor or something, they crumble very easily. There's shards coming out of them. Black ones, you can fucking destroy them and break them apart and no shards will come from them, right? They're a lot more dense. So again, not a geologist over here, although I did study it. I'm not a geologist. I didn't pursue it in a higher education so much. But yeah, you're cleansing, whatever. Anyways, little side note, side tracking, whatever it's called. And then you're gonna put your crystals. I'm not sure where I'm gonna put it. Maybe I'll put it like here. Ooh, okay. And this one I will put over here. This one I will put over here. And this one, the selenite, I will put all the way up here. Okay, there you go. This is set. Done. That's all. And then you light your candles, okay? You light them and that's it. That's it, completed. Right after you light them, tell them what you want them to do. Say your prayers, say your intention, meditate and think about it. You know, scream if you're angry, cry if you need to cry. Just put your energy into it. Whatever you feel inside and you feel that you need to give it. And yeah, the thing I don't like so much about these tea light candles, I think they're called, first of all, lighting is ridiculous. Okay. Is that they start out really like tiny and weak as a flame, and then they have to burn for like a couple of minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Then they start going higher and higher. So every time I light them and they're really weak, I'm like a jump scare. Like, oh my God, do I not have enough energy spiritually? Do I need to work on something? Then I was like, okay, calm down, bitch, calm down. Okay. So yeah, that's just basically it. Yeah. So yeah, that's all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it relatively useful. If you have any questions, you can let me know and I'll answer them for you. Yeah, that's it really. And just feel the magic work. Feel the magic. And a lot of people, beginners, usually ask like, how much do you need to redo a spell kind of this sort, like even a simpler one or a more complex one or whatever. Cleansing ritual, how often? Ideally, it should be once a week. There was a point in my life where I was very, very heavily afflicted, okay, by abuse and all of these things. So I used to do them every single day, sometimes even twice a day, because the energy was a lot to work through. I was being abused, you know, physically. But if you're not like in a really dangerous, life-threatening, abusive situation, you're just living your day-to-day life, once a week should do, okay? If you're on your period, maybe do it an extra time, because on your period you are literally banishing and cleansing out your body, so you're going through a lot emotionally, and even if you're not like crying or whatever, but emotionally, subconsciously, you're going through a lot. Okay, your soul is going through a lot when you're on your period. So you know, if it's your period week, maybe do it twice instead of once. That's all. Besides that, I think it's great. Yeah, maybe I think that's all that comes to mind that I could maybe answer. But again, if you have anything else, let me know. I'll answer for you. And yeah, that's it. Happy casting, guys. Bye bye.